George Mason has advanced to the semifinals tomorrow to face the winner of Dayton and St. Joseph's. We will start with an opening statement from Coach Skinn, take questions for the student athletes, and then questions for Coach. Coach?
Yeah, first and foremost, great win. It's our 25th win this season, and really proud of these guys. They find a way to piss me off at halftime all the time. They press that button, and then they press their own button when it comes to tenacity. And I think we saw that. That second half was phenomenal. Obviously led by Jared Billups. From a defensive standpoint, I say it all the time. I think I get way too much credit when you have a first teamer like Jalen Haynes, when you have the defensive player of the year like Jared Billups, when you have an all-conference guy like Darius Maddox. They make me look good, and I'm just proud of these guys, and one game at a time.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions for Jared and Jalen. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get you the mic. Say who the question is for and your name and affiliation. We'll start with Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick Stevens with the Washington Post. Jared, just wanted to ask about.
Turned it off.
Just wanted to ask about the foul trouble and being able to come out in the second half. What was kind
Excuse
of
me,
your
it's not
thoughts?
working.
Like,
Give him a different one, or?
One, okay, here we go.
There it is.
So anyway, foul trouble coming out in the second half. What were kind of your thoughts at having to sit as much as you did in the first half and trying to be as disruptive as you could early in the second?
My coach is just, he always gonna let me be me. He knows what he's getting himself into. He be having to calm me down sometimes. It's my fault though. But I was just gonna play my game regardless and try to get the win.
We'll go second row here.
Joe Szymanski, Giant Killer. Jalen, what's going through your mind there where you have that monster dunk in the second half? Like, what's going through your mind when you try and pull off something like that?
It was kind of a broken play. I think I broke the play off, and I lost the ball, and I was just trying to make a play. So that's basically where it was.
Jake.
Yeah, down here, guys. Jake Ron, DC News Now. This is for either one of you guys. GW already playing a game in this A10 tournament. Did it take a little bit for you guys to kind of warm up to the atmosphere here at Capital One? And what was that first half like for you guys as they took the lead in going at half?
I think they were kind of used to the atmosphere and the basketball is a little more pumped up. But I think, me personally, I was ready to play. But we just had to get into a flow, honestly, and then once we got into our flow, you see the outcome. So.
Yeah, just to piggyback off them, we didn't play in like 4 days against another team, so we were just looking for a rhythm. We stayed in the game by scoring the ball, obviously, so that wasn't the deal. The biggest deal was just getting stops on the defense end.
Second row on the right.
Ryan Hyman for the state. Jared, there was a play that I remember that Gio got fouled, and you went up to him and just started hyping him up. You seem to be a lot more hyped up in the moment than he was. What's it like trying to embrace that role off the bench where you're not just the defensive player of the year, but you are trying to bring that energy onto the court and your teammates?
Everyone on our team has a job, and I feel like that's my job, communicating to these guys, getting these guys ready to be at their best. I want him confident. I want all my teammates confident at all times to do what they do. Dunk that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
We'll go to Dave in the back.
Jalen, Dave Preston, WTOP Radio here in Washington. 24 points, 10 to 17 shooting. What do you feel you were able to take advantage of? What sort of things allowed you to have this evening?
Just playing with the pace, So Tony taught me before the game, just save my energy and be efficient. So that was the goal: to be aggressive, but also be efficient.
Going the first row on the right.
David Corn, A10 Talk. Jalen, can you just talk about your sort of matchup down low with Rafael Castro and how you're able to sort of really come out on top of that today?
He's a good player. He's on the top of the scouting program for sure. So, just offensively, the plan for me, just go at them, use my face, and get good finishes around the rim. I feel like I did that well tonight.
Go third row on this side.
Brian by George. Billups, you didn't miss a bucket today, also went 4 for 5 from the line. Is there something that you saw in the film or maybe in the previous 2 times you played them that allowed you to be so aggressive?
I was watching film all last night. Their game plan, especially at their place, was to try to make me score the ball, so I came in with the mindset that I got to be aggressive, and that was the outcome today.
We'll go in the middle, second row.
Matt Moderno, believe in DMV hoops. Jared, only 4 or 5 from the free throw line today. Did your coach talk to you about that missed free throw yet?
No, he knows I'm already hard enough on myself. I was mad I missed that free throw, but yeah.
I was mad you missed that layup.
I had to flop it down.
That was awful. You guys know the layup I'm talking about, right?
My teammates behind it.
We'll take one last one for the student athletes in the back, towards the middle.
John Titel from Hoops HD for Jared. You're not the first Billups to do well in the postseason. Do you think there might be some sort of clutch family gene at work?
That's a good question. Absolutely.
All right, you guys are good to go. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Questions for Coach? Patrick in the front.
Sorry, Tony, not so bad.
It's all good, Pat.
Was that first 13, 14 minutes of the second half the best blend of offense and defense you guys have played this season?
Yeah, I mean, that was phenomenal. I can't wait to go back and watch that tape because I feel it in my bones, and I just think of certain situations where I think Braden got a deflection, then he got a block, and then what he does every once in a while, he got another block, and next thing you know, the game just completely changed. KD's steal, Jared's denial, all those things that just kind of inject our identity into the game. It was phenomenal to watch. I think we had an 18-point lead, and I was looking at the score, hoping we could extend that to 20. We'll be watching film on some of our situational awareness and decision making because it's a luxury to be up that much. But if you're going to win 3 games in 3 days, you've got to be able to capitalize when you can. And again, that was a defensive effort we've seen all season long. These guys, I don't know what they say to each other at halftime, but whatever it is, it's pretty good.
And was the dichotomy first half to second half just the latest illustration of what Billups does for you ultimately?
Yeah, it's Coach Steve Kern just said something in the locker room, and I just looked at him like, I know this, but his quote was, "You're never going to get another player like Jared Billups." And in my coaching career, I got to agree with him, and I say it every day. And so he's just phenomenal. I'm happy for him because he was able to just put together a good, obviously the defensive part. We know what he's going to give us, but every once in a while, man, when you play as hard as he plays, God rewards you offensively, and I think that's what happened tonight.
Put David in the front.
David Korn, A10 Talk. Coach, I was wondering if you talk a bit more about some of the second half adjustments that you talked about. You got up to that big lead. Just what sort of you're talking about at halftime and what went into that?
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunately, the first 20 minutes looked like our first 20 minutes at Richmond. I think from a defensive standpoint, when we guard the paint, when we do what we do defensively, there's not a lot of teams that can score on us in the half court. However, when we're passive and taking away the threes like we did, it was like open gym. Just shoot the 3. You're not going to make it. And they made 7 threes. They made 7 threes. We made 2 threes. I'm sorry, was it? Yeah, I think 7 threes. We made 2 threes. And, that's plus 15 right there. We were lucky to go into halftime down 4. We made that adjustment, take away their threes. They can't dribble and get past us in our paint. And we made that adjustment. Our sense of urgency, kind of just took the air out of their confidence that they had in the first half. And that was ball game. I think with maybe 8 minutes to go, they only scored 8 points. And so, again, that's kind of what we've been. That's kind of who we are. And a lot of times, when the offense and the defense is clicking, you get, a 15-point win in the conference tournament.
Go second row. third from the aisle.
Coach, talk about the show from Mason Nation today. It's been a long time since this fan base has had a group like your guys are to root for something like this. How important was that for you guys, especially in this era, is going to have to feed off of what that crowd is giving
phenomenal.
you?
You know, again, I don't want to talk about 2006, but there's nostalgia for everybody, including myself, when I'm in this building. And you know, our guys feed off of it. I've been saying it all year long. When I took the job, Patriot pressure was a real thing. And I think tonight, you know, it showed that Patriot pressure travels. We're going to need that tomorrow. We're going to need that on Sunday. But it's a major part of why we are successful. We were really good at home, but you know, without our six man, you know, you don't win 25 games, and that's just something that we've got to continue to build on. But I'm proud of these guys, and you know, just happy for the program. But we got a lot of work to do.
Stay in the same row.
Christian Scobia, Florida State. Coach, I've noticed that the whole season you put a lot more trust in Katie Johnson each game, and you've helped him develop, I've noticed. And tonight, he scored, he stole, made amazing passes, and as the game went on, you could just see him smiling each minute. What is that like for you, and how much you take pride in being proud of him?
Well, you want me to be honest?
Yeah,
I'm going to go to heaven because I'm coaching Katie Johnson. That's my hall pass. You know, Katie Johnson, I knew what I was getting when I recruited him. I wasn't scared of it. You know, we've got some similarities, not a lot, but we've got some. You know, his toughness. And you're talking about a guy that, I mean, he's played at the highest level. He played at Auburn, and Auburn's been pretty damn good the last 3 years. He's a fan favorite. His compassion for the game. I have never seen him dunk the basketball in practice like that. But I think that just kind of shows you what type of maniac he is sometimes. But again, when you have a guy like that on the floor, there's a reason we recruited to that. The Patriot pressure last year, I think from a personnel standpoint, we were okay. We're actually pretty good in the league. We're number one defensively in our league, but I wanted to recruit to a little bit more than that and not just scream Patriot pressure. And to go get Katie Johnson, to go get Big Gio, we've got a little bit more length, a little bit more toughness. And, you know, again, when you're putting together halves of, you know, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, and you're looking at the rim and you can't find a way to score, a major piece of that is because you've got, you know, I'll call, you know, Jared the Batman, and I'll call KD, you know, the Robin. It's just a tough group to score against, and we're going to need that.
Same row.
Ryan Heim, Florida State. With this being your second A10 tournament, what's it like to flip the switch, not only for you, but trying to prepare the team from regular season play to A10 tournament play?
Yeah, I mean, it's a major part of our message. You know, even in the summertime, I say it all the time, there's multiple parts of a season. You know, you've got your preseason when you're prepping and just going through certain things, learning a lot, learning each other. And then you've got your non-conference, which is our second part of our season. These guys have heard me say it all season long, and we've spoken into existence. And then you get into conference play, and you're just learning so many different lessons along the way. We learned some pretty hard lessons in non-conference early on. But this group, you know, stayed together. You know, the coaching staff did a phenomenal job in just managing just different egos, different mindsets. I got a bunch of seniors that, you know, this is it for them. This is their last go-round. And to get that type of commitment from a group like that, it doesn't happen, not in this portal age, not in the NIL age. And I'm just lucky to be coaching a group that, you know, at the end of the day, they're giving so much into themselves. I mean, you talk about a guy like Jared Billups, I hate to keep talking about him, but he hasn't started in 20-something games. And I've left Woody and Zach in there on purpose because we need those guys. And in certain games, those guys have stepped up. You know, Woody Newton hit 8 threes in St. Louis. If he doesn't have that game, you don't win that game. Zach Anderson, multiple games at Dayton, at Bonaventure. And as good as those guys have been, the sacrifice from Jared Billups is a major piece of that. And so, again, different parts of our season, and I'm just glad that we put the work in early on to be able to get a double bye, and then to be able to come in here and get this win. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, so I'm proud of these guys.
Coach, obviously the first game in the A10 tournament for you guys. What's the next 18 hours or so like as you guys get ready for the semifinals tomorrow?
You know, obviously the coaches are going to sit back and watch Dayton and St. Joe's, 2 teams that we know a little bit about. We didn't get a chance to play them twice, but Once was enough. And so we'll go back, we'll prep a little bit and, obviously wait on the outcome of this game. Us coaches, it's the tournament, man. There's so much you can do. And it's not, it's a little bit of what they do, but it's a lot about who they are. And so we'll be able to grind film as a staff and be up all night doing what I need to do just to get these guys prepared. But more than likely, we won't see these guys tonight. We'll see them in the morning. These guys are junkies. They'll watch the game for themselves. But we're going to have to maximize what we need to know about both teams first thing in the morning. But rest is a major component of what we do. I got to make sure these guys, get their rest.
All right, we'll take the last one from Daniel on that.
Daniel Frank from A10 Talk. Coach, 1 week ago tonight, you guys were in Henrico to watch the women's program, and then tonight they returned the favor and were sitting front row for you guys. How much does that connection between the two programs mean to you, and what does it mean for the university as a whole to have this kind of success for both programs?
It means for me personally, it means the world to me. This is my alma mater. This place gave me an opportunity a long time ago. I didn't know what that would mean, years later. But to be able to have that type of, blessing, it means everything to me, and then just our leadership in general. From our president to our athletic director, we're all feeding off of each other. And again, Vanessa Blair-Lewis, she's leading those young ladies at a high level, and to just have that, it means the world. I joked around with her and I told her, she's got a little bit of a bye week. She could come sit on the bench and help me coach tonight. She didn't do that, but I saw her in the stands, and so. Credit to those ladies. They'll be playing in the NCAA tournament next week, and it's a good feeling. But again, at the end of the day, I'm crazy enough to I want consistency. And this year, what we're doing is we're not done. This is why I have the job.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.